The night had fallen softly over the quiet city, but in one corner office, the light still glowed through the glass. Inside, a woman sat motionless on a couch, pretending to be asleep, though her heart pounded faster than it ever had in her life. Her name was Emily Carter, CEO of one of the biggest firms in the state, powerful, poised, and feared by many. Yet tonight, she wasn't acting like a boss. Tonight, she was testing a man, a single dad named Jack Miller, and she had no idea that what she was about to witness would change her heart forever. Emily had always believed people wore masks, that kindness was a strategy, and loyalty was bought. So when she hired Jack, a humble janitor who seemed too good to be true, she couldn't shake her suspicion. He worked late shifts, smiled through exhaustion, and never complained even though life had clearly beaten him down. She'd heard whispers about him, about the small daughter he was raising alone after losing his wife. Still, Emily's instincts told her to trust no one. So one evening, after staying late in her office, she decided to test him. She left her handbag out on the table, her diamond bracelet glittering near it, and then stretched out on the couch, closing her eyes. She wanted to see if Jack, who always cleaned her office at night, would take advantage of the situation. It wasn't just about suspicion, it was about her heart, her curiosity. Something about him unsettled her, and she couldn't understand why. As she lay there, pretending to sleep, she listened for the sound of his footsteps. They came, slow, careful, almost hesitant, the sound of a man who respected silence. Jack entered, pushing his cleaning cart. For a moment, he paused, seeing her asleep on the couch. Emily waited, her breath shallow, wondering what he would do. He moved quietly, gathering papers, wiping down surfaces. Then, something unexpected happened. He stopped near her, and she felt the air shift. She was certain he'd noticed the bracelet, the purse. Instead, he reached down slowly and adjusted the blanket that had slipped off her shoulders. His fingers were gentle, his movement careful, almost protective. Emily's throat tightened. He looked at her for a second longer, not with desire or greed, but with a strange tenderness. Then he sighed quietly, whispering to himself, "You work too hard, ma'am. No one should carry the world alone." He didn't know she could hear him. But she did, every word, and it pierced through the armor she had built for years. When he turned away, he pulled a small, folded paper from his pocket and placed it on her desk beside the bracelet. Then, with quiet steps, he left. Emily opened her eyes only after the door clicked shut. Her hand trembled as she reached for the note. In neat handwriting, it read, "Thank you for letting me keep this job. It means I can still buy my daughter's medicine. God bless you." She sat there frozen. The bracelet, the money, untouched. Instead, the only thing left behind was honesty. Emily pressed the note to her chest, and for the first time in years, she felt something shift inside her: guilt, respect, and something deeper she couldn't name. That night, she didn't sleep at all. She thought about the man who had less than anyone she knew, yet carried more dignity than everyone around her. The next morning, Emily arrived early. She found Jack cleaning the front hallway, wearing his usual faded blue uniform. His smile was warm but tired. "Morning, ma'am," he greeted, as if nothing had happened. She studied him closely, trying to read his face. "Jack," she said softly, "do you ever rest?" He chuckled lightly. "Single dads don't rest, ma'am. We just keep going." His words hit her deeper than she expected. Over the next few weeks, Emily found herself noticing things she had never seen before: the quiet way Jack helped the security guard carry boxes, how he brought lunch from home in the same small container every day, and how he left exactly at 7 to pick up his daughter, Lily. One evening, as she was leaving, she saw him waiting in the rain outside a small pharmacy, holding Lily in his arms. She was asleep against his chest, her little hand clutching his shirt. That sight, so ordinary, yet so beautiful, broke something in her. The next day, Emily called Jack into her office. He entered nervously, wiping his hands on his uniform. "Did I do something wrong, ma'am?" he asked. She shook her head. "No, Jack. You did everything right." Then she smiled faintly, sliding an envelope across the desk. "It's not charity," she said when he hesitated. "It's an opportunity. There's an opening in maintenance management. You deserve it." Jack's eyes widened. He looked like he wanted to say no, but his voice cracked when he whispered, "Thank you." Weeks turned into months. Jack's confidence grew, and so did Emily's quiet admiration. She began spending more time talking to him, not as a CEO, but as a person. They spoke about life, loss, and the strange ways people heal. She found herself laughing again, feeling warmth she hadn't felt in years. Lily started visiting sometimes after school, bringing flowers from the park. Emily kept them in a vase on her desk, a daily reminder of innocence and love. One evening, Emily offered Jack a ride home. As they pulled up to his small apartment, she saw the worn-out toys on the porch, the cozy lights glowing inside. "It's not much," Jack said softly, "but it's home." Emily smiled faintly. Sometimes the smallest places hold the biggest hearts. Lily peeked from the door and waved. "Hi, Miss Emily," she chirped. The joy in that child's voice was contagious. Over time, Emily realized she no longer saw Jack as an employee, but as a mirror of everything she had lost in her own pursuit of success. He had taught her that wealth wasn't counted in money or power, but in love, kindness, and sacrifice. Months later, one quiet evening, Emily sat in her office again. This time, she wasn't pretending to sleep, she was remembering that night when she did. Jack knocked softly and entered, holding 2 cups of coffee. "Still working late?" he teased gently. She smiled. "Old habits die hard." He handed her a cup, then sat across from her. The air between them was calm, filled with unspoken understanding. She looked at him, her voice barely a whisper. "Jack, that night I pretended to sleep, I saw what you did." He blinked, surprised. You were awake?" She nodded slowly. "I saw the note. I saw your heart." There was a long silence before she added, "It changed me." Jack smiled quietly, his eyes soft. Sometimes, the things we do when we think no one's watching are who we really are. And that night, as they sat together watching the city lights fade into dawn, Emily realized that real trust, wasn't built in boardrooms or contracts. It was born in quiet moments, in unseen kindness, and in the courage to care. She had tested a man once, but in the end, it was her own heart that was tested and saved.